You know, there aren't that many people who are going to have the capacity and the patience to sit through this entire transmission that I'm about to share on attention. Because ironically, our attention is just being pulled in too many places. So your attention is likely to get pulled somewhere else before you get to the real juice of this conversation that we're about to have asymmetrically across time and space. Because our attention is by far the most valuable resource in our lives. Our attention is the most valuable resource. This is the fundamental holistic axiom that we're exploring here in this contemplation. Because there is no substitute for your attention in your life. There's no valid substitute for that. It can't be replaced. It can't be bought. It can't be sold. And our world is driving us to value things more than our attention. And our world is sucking at our attention. This whole medium is an attention suck because our attention is the most valuable resource in the universe. The attention of a human being. Think about that for a second in terms of total value of anything in the universe. And in particular, the quality attention of a human being. Whoa. So, what does it mean when I say that there's no substitute for your attention in your life? Well, our body is the most potent example we can use, because our body requires our loving attention to thrive. The more loving attention, high quality, high quantity attention we put on caring for this body, in the way that we stand, in the way that we move, in the way that we breathe, in the way that we hydrate and nourish ourselves. I ain't drinking the Kool-Aid, fam. I'm drinking the chlorophyll. That's right. This is bro water. It's chlorophyll and creatine. Creatine, well, this is for the bros. Only bros can drink this water. Bro, chlorophyll and creatine. That's all I gotta say, bro. So, in our body, you know, there's a whole industry that's developed to tell us what to do to be well, except that it's utterly failing at creating a healthy, happy humanity or society. There's a whole industry, highly profitable industry, that's designed to get you hooked on external solutions to your health issues. Whole industry. And they're really doing well at making hand over fist profits in that industry. But my understanding is the whole point of the industry is to make well humans, right? But apparently the point of the industry is to keep humans just sick enough to keep needing their products. The actual point of the medical industry is to make money for shareholders, not to make healthy people. Healthy people are bad for profit. Healthy humans are bad for profit. Can you just take that in? Now, breathe with that. Yeah, healthy humans are bad for profits, for our medical industry. And until you grapple with that fundamental fact, it's an inarguable fact. Until you grapple with the inarguable fact, then you can't understand what's going on in our world right now. And this isn't going to make that much sense. Because if you think that there's a substitute for your attention at making you well, then you're going to go try to buy that pill and get that operation and have somebody just Botox your face to pretty and cut you open and make your body look a certain way without you having to do any of the work. But unfortunately, your attention is the fundamental unit of your thriving. Right? Actually thriving, not just looking like you're thriving, not just appearing to the world as though you're thriving, but thriving from like deep within where you're happy, where you love yourself, where you love your body, where you are lit up by your purpose in the world and by what you're here to contribute to others. And you're supported to do the thing that you love to do and are just fucking amazing at doing for your community. That is thriving. Your relationships are thriving. You can move the way you like to move. You can do all the things you want to do in this body. Thriving. Now, we're designed to thrive. Human beings are designed to thrive, not to survive, to thrive. Whew. But thriving is bad for business. Because thriving humans don't need all that much stuff. Thriving humans need healthy relationships, healthy families, healthy bodies, healthy hearts, healthy minds, healthy communities, healthy home. That's what healthy humans need. We don't need Instagram and Mercedes-Benz. We don't need Gucci. We don't need Botox. We don't need any of that shit that actually is bad for us in excess. We need just the right amount of what we actually need. And there's this law in the survivalist world called the law of threes. And the law of threes goes something like this. You can live for like 3 weeks without food. Like you could just stop eating today and you would probably make it at least 3 weeks you would be alive before it starts to become a fatal condition. Yeah? And so you can live for at least 3 days without water, right? So those two needs, food and water, are not your highest level needs, right? And I forgot I was taking the car. I wouldn't have put this thing on. So you can only live for about 3 hours in really harsh conditions like high desert heat conditions, or the conditions of a cold or snowy night, you can only live for about 3 hours without proper shelter, the right clothes, or the right roof over your head under those conditions. And you can only make it about 3 minutes without breath in your lungs. 3 minutes. That's all you get without breathing. And yet, it only takes 3 seconds of inattention at the right moment to kill someone. You can die in 3 seconds with the wrong attitude, with your attention in the wrong place at the wrong moment. Boom, done. So if we look at the law of threes as a holistic litmus for priority of needs, we can see that the most fundamental need is awareness. Secondary to that is our breath, right? Breath is the most fundamental human need next to being conscious, being aware. So you can't do anything if you're unconscious, if you're out, right? Conscious awareness and then breath are the first two. Then shelter, a safe place. Shelter is a metaphor and a physical reality. The right kind of shelter, whether it's shade or it's, a warm house in the winter, shelter. More important on the fundamental survival level than food or water. Then we get to food, then we get to water, then we get to food, right? So just thinking about that in terms of fundamental survival. And realizing that our awareness is this irreducible factor in our well-being. That if you can't get results from a pill that actually require you to spend time doing physical therapy, you're not going to get results from a mantra that require you actually to be on your yoga mat doing the work, right? You can't get results from watching a YouTube video, watching somebody else do something that actually require you to be focusing on what you're doing right now. In the gym, in the dojo, in the practice studio, in the dance space, on the dance floor, wherever you find that embodiment practice where you give yourself loving attention. You're giving yourself the loving attention that you need to thrive. And I give myself a lot of attention. I put myself first because I'm the most valuable resource in my life. So I put me first. And so I got to have a conversation with my friend here, and then I'll be right back. Hey!
What are you doing?
I'm headed down there to get started.
Oh, did you see my message?
I don't know which one.
About what? I responded like 5 comments to what you said.
About having a compression tester?
Yeah, and other things. Well, no, after that.
Okay, I have that. I don't know. I'm gonna go down. I'll respond to your messages, but I'm doing a thing.
And I'm getting ready to head down there too.
Great, I'll see you there.
Okay.
So, yeah, nobody can do my push-ups for me. Nobody can do your push-ups for you, dude. It doesn't matter how much you pay them. You got to do your own push-ups. And that is the clincher. You can appear healthy You can create the appearance of health through money, but you can't create health through money. You can only create health through self-care. And we've been set up in this system that pits our own self-care against our material well-being. Because a lot of people, quote, can't afford to spend their time exercising. They don't make enough per hour to cover all their bills and still give themselves plenty of time to exercise. This is a reality for a lot of people in the world. And so what do we do? What do we do knowing this? How do we steward our attention? This is the great question of our time. How do we steward our attention, the most precious resource in the universe? In your relationship, there's no thing you can buy her or him that could possibly be a substitute for your loving attention. If you want intimacy, if you want deep intimacy with someone, then you must put your attention on them, like carefully, when they're with you and when they're not with you. Attend to them in your heart. Our attention can't be substituted or replaced. That doesn't mean that gifts aren't wonderful. Doesn't mean that spending money on people isn't delicious. And it doesn't mean that you don't need to also invest money into yourself. There are things that I'm the most important thing to spend money on in my life. Period. I am the most important thing to spend money on. My wellness is the most important thing, because when I'm well, my wellness radiates into every dimension of my life, into my work, into my play, into my partnership, into my community and my friendships. So, and I know that my wellness, the foundation of my wellness, is my attention on me. My loving and skillful attention on me. The more skillful the attention, the more skillful and loving, then the more regenerative that attention is. And we are at a really delicious and fascinating cusp. We are seeing a tipping point of consciousness right now, where a critical mass of people has the potential to awaken to a more holistic way of perceiving and relating with life. A more holistic. We've been caught in dualism, us against them, wrong and right, masculine versus feminine. It's like it's coming to this huge head. The antagonies of dualism are all right against left, and people against environment, and just all of these polarities in conflict with each other, east against west, on a global scale, because the very notion of duality that is in conflict is dying. It's giving way in human consciousness to a more holistic frame of reference that recognizes collaboration as far more effective than competition in every possible way. It recognizes that there's no mechanical device that we can create that can replace human attention in tending to the actual needs of life. Intending to the actual needs of life. There's nothing that can replace our human attention intending to our actual needs. And our economy is driven right now by making sure people buy a bunch of stuff they don't actually need. And so there's a whole marketing and media thing to program humans to spend their attention on things they don't need and their money and time on things they don't need, which makes them unwell, which makes them more hungry, which makes them a better consumer, and which makes them need the medical industry and all of these other industries to try to fix them from their sickness. Mental, emotional, spiritual, physical. And so this is a revolutionary concept, and these are revolutionary times in this way, but not a bloody revolution, because there's no holistic revolution. There's no way to have a holistic revolution that is violent, because violence itself is recognized as the most immature possible response to a difficult situation. It is factually the cause of all of our problems, not the solution. And we are fundamentally reprogramming ourselves and reorganizing our nervous systems around a higher level intelligence that recognizes the inherent limitations of duality and violence and transcends and includes them. There is still masculine and feminine. I still get to be a dude, but I get to be a dude who's in a inner harmony between my masculine and feminine, because I've cultivated it through my awareness, through putting attention on living in balance, through putting attention on all of the limiting beliefs that I have and carefully unraveling those, and practicing a new way of sitting, a new way of breathing, a new way of moving, and a new way of sheltering myself, and a new way of interacting with the economy that reflects my sense of what thriving looks and feels like. I love my life. I have designed my life carefully and painstakingly and lovingly. And now I'm putting my attention on my car, which has been sitting here for a couple weeks, needing a new clutch and some new brake shoes and a couple other things. And so I'm gonna continue with that and end this contemplation for now, but I just wanted to capture it because I feel such a zeal for this truth right now. I feel such a zeal for this recognition that our attention is the most valuable currency in the universe, that our loving attention and is irreplaceable, and this being an encouragement to you and to myself to recognize the value of this currency which I give, and to place it consciously, to aim my attention with more care and precision, to notice the quality of my attention more often. Is my attention tetchy and frustrated and or is my attention spacious and easy? Is my attention graspy, trying to get something? Or is my attention withdrawn, pulling away? What is the quality of my attention? Because I can put a lot of time into something, but if the quality of that time is low, then my results are not great. I get exhausted. But if I put quality time in, quality attention in, from a place of being resourced personally, because I've cared well for myself, then I enjoy what I'm doing, I do it well, and it gets done efficiently. I take my time, and it gets done efficiently. And I'm about to take my time with this and just do what needs to be done until it's finished with my truck today. And then I'm gonna take my girl on a date, because we haven't had a date in a hot minute. And she deserves my exquisite loving attention. I'm gonna frame a whole experience for her tonight. And I'm gonna take her to this special place, this magical set of stairs in our little mountain town that nobody knows about. And there's a landing in the middle of it where I'm gonna set up a tea table and I'm gonna pour her tea. And I'm gonna just take her in and just smell her fragrance and be with her beauty and listen to the to the leaves rustling in the wind and see what happens before I take her out to a beautiful dinner. Because I love her and I want her to thrive, and her flourishing and thriving and being seen in her beauty is my greatest pleasure. It's so easy. And yet it requires conscious intention, because it's not our training, because we've grown up in a world that has commercialized our suffering. Thank you for taking the time. Those of you who made it all the way to the end, congratulations. Amazing work. Thank you, I love you. And I hope to see you in the dojo soon, where I currently broadcast 5 75-minute movement sessions every week that are accessible for free to anybody who joins our program. There's a free membership option. And these are all holistic self-love practices where we move our bodies and we contemplate these things, and we repattern our movement and our breath and our posture and our attitude, recalibrating it to a more holistic frame of reference, recalibrating to love as our greatest ally and our most regenerative resource in the universe. So I hope that you'll join us in the dojo soon. And there's a link below. It's the Holistic Shift, or the humanthrivingproject.org. Aloha. Bless your attention.